Sometimes I get people in my office who we find have some insulin resistance or some prediabetes, and they're fairly confused because for such a long time we've talked about the genetics, that if you don't have diabetes in your family, then you're not at high risk. But unfortunately, with our modern processed food environment, we are often seeing more insulin resistance, more prediabetes in people who don't have that family history. Now, some of the time, our family members may have had diabetes or prediabetes and they weren't screened for it. So there is some of that. And I certainly see that with a lot of patients who are coming from other countries that, don't have the same healthcare type system. And so relatives may not have learned. It's possible too that sometimes people might have been genetically predisposed to diabetes, but their eating pathways, our relatives' eating pathways, or their physical activity was not in a place that gave them diabetes, right? Because we need genetics is a prime risk factor, but we also need to have the metabolic dysfunction, which maybe we didn't eat in a way that led us to that. Maybe we moved our bodies enough that we had good insulin sensitivity in the muscles, and that was preventative enough. Maybe we lived to be 95 and we had just a little bit of diabetes at the end of our life. I'm not so worried about that person, but there is still a genetic predisposition there. So there can be those elements there, but sometimes we are going to get insulin resistance or prediabetes without a family history. That does happen. I would say it's less common, but unfortunately, again, our modern food system is such that we are surrounded by food that is very easily broken down into sugars. We are surrounded by large amounts of food that are easily accessible, and we are eating more frequently than I think we ever have before. There are many points of human history where we might eat 1 or 2 times per day. Now we typically will eat 3 meals. Many people will eat snacks. Many people will go, shopping at the grocery store or even the hardware store, and there's snacks there, there's coffee drinks, there's all sorts of sugar and processed foods around us all the time. Our bodies are not designed to handle that much food or food that is so easily digested. Our bodies are wired to help us survive famine. And because of that, we've got a real mismatch. So if our bodies are wired to survive famine and prevent starvation by increasing our hunger in response to weight loss and increasing our fat storage, when that happens, and we've got too much food around us all the time, it's really easy to be storing extra calories. And so one of my, I can't call him a mentor because I've never met him, but one of the people that I follow, Dr. Michael Greger, he says, genetics load the gun, but environment pulls the trigger, meaning that I might have a genetic predisposition to something. It's not a guarantee that I'm going to get it, but if I am in a food environment where I have too much food and too highly processed food and just a lot of sugar around me all the time, then I'm very likely to get diabetes. If I don't have both of those, but I have one of them, I might still get it. So although a family history of diabetes is very highly correlated with me getting diabetes, it's not always the case. And we shouldn't say that no family history just gives us a free pass.